All right. Hey, Jason, how's it going?
Good, good, Avinash. I'm good. How are you today, bro?
Pretty good. So, episode 4 of the HODL Club here, and
Yes, sir.
we're going to talk about Audius today, right?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right. So, I've got some slides here, so I'm going to quickly share my screen. All right. So, let me know when you can see my screen here.
There we go. Now I see it.
All right. So, today we're going to talk about Audius. So, jumping right in. Audius is a decentralized music, or not even music. It's a decentralized streaming service. It could be music or podcasts or anything related to sound, right? So it's like a
Okay.
really interesting, project trying to compete with the likes of SoundCloud, Spotify, etc. So this is the main page, and it's basically a platform play which allows artists to be connected with any avenue where their music could be utilized. Or whether it could be like streaming in a physical venue, or like inside of a game, or anything of that sort. So it's like a really interesting platform. So digging in, the team is actually a bunch of young guns from the local area. They're repping the DMV
Really? They're from
Thomas
here?
Jefferson High School. So
I didn't know that. I didn't know that they're from the DMV. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. I think Ronald Rumberg, Sid Sethi, and Harish, and even Theeraj. I think they're all from the DMV.
Get out
Uh,
of here. Wow, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So
You
so
should
they're
hit
all
them
like, I
up.
think maybe some of the other ones might be as well, but like these guys, I know, I based on my research, they're from the DMV. Went to TJ, and then I think went to a bunch of Ivy League schools, and are now
Hey,
together
I'm
working
repping
on
today.
Audius.
I'm repping today, by the way. I'm repping
There
Dartmouth
you go.
College.
There you go, brother. Yeah. All right. I saw that. Yeah, nice. Okay. So yeah, so that's the team. And maybe like digging into the white paper. I've got the white paper pulled up. I think this is like a diagram that kind of describes how data flows within this platform, right? So like you've got artists and fans as like the content producer. Artists are the content producers, fans are the artists, the content consumers, right?
Hmm.
And the other nodes in this diagram are what make the Audius platform. So how this gets started is an artist creates the content and publishes it on the Audius website. And what that implicitly does is it loads it into a content node and the Audius content ledger. And based on the consumption media or consumption type, whether it's like in game or like some sort of a streaming service somewhere, fans consume that content either directly from a content node or from some sort of a discovery node. We can get into that in a little bit, but
Yeah. Now, and also, let me also point out too. So, what's really revolutionary about this concept, about this delivery mechanism, is that you don't see a record company in here. You don't see a centralized company in here like Spotify or YouTube. This is the artist being able to directly provide content to their fans, right?
yeah, absolutely. So it's like basically no middleman, right? uh, when an artist creates some music and or some files, some audio files,
Mm-hmm.
when they upload it, it basically uses IPFS under the hood to take the user related user account information, some other metadata along with the actual audio files, and creates an IPFS hash for it. That's how you uniquely identify a particular song or a particular audio clip from a particular user. And based on the viewership or the usage of that audio clip, there's like, incentive mechanism built in for getting rewarded, right? So like, it's super interesting because it's like, using this like decentralized content ledger, and using the idea of a content node and a discovery node to allow artists to monetize their content. And now, like, an artist, you can't, they use the term artist or a user as an umbrella term for anybody who's, a music composer, a DJ, or like somebody, who's like building some sort of like, electronic music, on top of some music, and building remixes and things of that sort. And even like I mentioned, like if you're building some games and you're trying to use some music inside of the game, even that could be kind of used, even the audio clips uploaded by these artists could be used in those big games as well. So
Right.
So it's super interesting there. Any questions right now, Jason, or like any thoughts?
So I just also wanted to point out real quick. So IPFS is the Interplanetary File System, and maybe you should just throw a link in the description of this one for folks, because we actually had a couple of conversations about that. So if folks want to learn about IPFS, they can look at some of the other videos that we made about it.
Cool, sounds good. Yeah. So I'll definitely add that to the show link. And then piggybacking on that, on top of that, so I went to their GitHub project, and this is where like it gets into the details of what the blockchain infrastructure looks like, right? So like, as you can see on this page, you have a content node, you have a discovery node, and then you've got a bunch of Ethereum smart contract that basically publish this data on the blockchain. And then there's this idea of slashing, which basically is what holds the discovery nodes and content nodes accountable to a certain criteria, like, uptime, making sure that like, if they're hosting some content, they're like down, they're not, they're up during a particular time frame and things of that sort. And if they're not, the tokens that they have to stake, get taken away from them. So slashing is that mechanism. I don't know if we're going to have time to get into that. And then identity service is something I think that's still being like built, but that's basically a service that allows any user to use whatever type of login that they have and log into Audius, connect their wallet, whether that's like their MetaMask wallet or some other wallet, to their account, so that when they upload some music and they're supposed to get some rewards, they can actually get that in a different wallet from what the Audius platform provides to them by default. So they've kind of also looked into the custodial situation where you don't, Audius doesn't take custody of your Audius token wallet. You can actually bring your own wallet where they drop your tokens if you want. So super interesting idea, right? So digging deeper here, I wanted to kind of get into like content node and discovery node, right? So like content node is where the user and audio file data really resides. So this is basically a node within the ecosystem where like the user uploads their content, and anybody can become a content or a discovery node to serve these audio files. The difference between a content node and a discovery node is that a discovery node is more of an indexing service. So let's say there's like some content that's like super popular, right? And right now it's in only like 2 nodes in the whole world. There's some like Katy Perry song or something, and like it's like everybody's loving it all over the world, and there's only like 2 nodes, and it's not able to handle all the traffic. You can create discovery nodes. Discovery nodes could also be for creating playlists, So if you know, you have some like, you know, particular genre of music that you've created playlists around and it's popular, you can use the discovery node for that, and things of that sort.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm still, it's still kind of weird that they made two separate nodes for that.
yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, I hear what you're saying as far as the difference between the two, but I still don't understand why they had to be two separate nodes, though. That's still kind of like weird.
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think the difference there is that, you know, there's the demand side and there's the supply side, right? So I think one, if right now as a platform, I'm thinking they don't know if they're going to be like demand constrained or supply constrained, right?
Okay.
So what that means is like supply side is where like the artists upload their content, right? So it could be possible that you know, once they like really scale up and they have, you know, millions of artists, if not, you know, if not thousands, uploading music, you know, playlists of all kinds, data of all kinds on a continuous basis, that's something that they have to figure out how to scale, right? So that's where like the content nodes are going to probably try to scale.
Okay.
The discovery node is where like the end users try to consume the content from, right? So like, you know, if you have like a lot of different types of playlists, like, you know, in-game music, and I'll show you like other use cases as well. Like I'm going to log into the Audius website to show you like what this means. I think that's what the discovery node is going to be used for, which is finding content that already exists in some content nodes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we talked about yeah. So like, you know, there's all the documentation to become a node in the Audius platform, whether it's a content node or a discovery node. It's all open source. It's all in the documentation for their on their website. I'm gonna add that to the show links. So yeah, it's all out there. So here, I actually created an Audius profile. I just logged in here, and when I log in, let me actually
Snap. You about to upload your album?
My album, yeah, man. Well, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna upload the show to Audius. So that's
let's
something,
do it.
you know, that's looking at. Yeah. So you know, your track could be anything. It could be music or podcasts or you know, something else. So what you can what I wanted to kind of go over.
You know what, Avinash? That's a good question, though. Could I even upload like a YouTube video? Is there any way that I would upload videos?
That is a great question. That's exactly what I was going to get into.
Okay.
So folks are building plugins, right? So there's an Audius API. So I mentioned, you know, you can add music to games. So there's like a game called Music Racer. It's an arcade game where like you basically have to move your car based on like, you know, on the tune of the music, right? Like on certain beats, you got to like move the car left or right, you know, stuff like that. So it's like, you know, and then they're basically using Audius for the in-game music. Another example is YouTube to Audius importer.
Right? There we are. All right.
So you've got an app which basically allows you to take your YouTube content and immediately upload that to Audius.
Nice.
Right.
That's much easier. Yeah. Cause I was trying to figure out how in the world we're going to even do that if we wanted to get this up on Audius. So that's perfect.
Yeah. So once you have that, right, like, so now you've got like, you know, a content creation mechanism, content delivery mechanism through discovery nodes. And as you can see, like, you know, a user on Audius, there's no you know, there's no difference between an artist and a consumer of music on the Audius platform.
Okay.
So a user is somebody who either, you know, listens to this music or creates the music. Now, if you're a creator, right, if you know, you probably go to this settings page where the Audius platform, when you create an account, creates a token wallet for you, and that's where you can receive your Audius tokens if people are consuming your content, right?
Okay.
And like I mentioned earlier, you can actually bring your own wallet. So you can actually connect your MetaMask wallet or, Wallet Connect or one of the other wallet types to actually get your tokens dropped into a different wallet. And how you actually get rewarded is, I think they're still like kind of building the incentive mechanism here to see like, where, how they incentivize people to like upload the content here, et cetera, where like, they're airdropping tokens based on, the top 5 trending tracks, playlists, top 10 API apps and things of that sort. So, and then they've got like these tiers as well, where like, once you get to like a certain tier where like you're holding a certain amount of Audius token, you become, a valuable part of the ecosystem and the community, and you get certain rewards for that, like NFT collectibles, things of that sort.
Okay.
So, super interesting project. As you can see, like I think they also, they're really trying to grow this as a platform. They also had a TikTok partnership fairly recently, a $5 million, VC capital infusion from a bunch of well-known celebrities in the music industry, and looks like a promising project.
Yeah, this is really cool. This is really interesting.
Yeah. And if you want to start a content node or discovery node right now, what it costs you to do that is 200,000 audio tokens, which, based on the current value, like, estimating the current value being $2 per token right now is about like $400,000. So I could be wrong here, but I think you can be a discovery node and a content node at the same time. And
I pay $400 each.
Yeah, that I don't know. I'm not sure. That's something that like I can add in the show notes. But yeah, I think this is something that's gonna grow. Like there's quite a few service operators. And it also shows like their staked delegated tokens. I mean, this guy is a legit whale right here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, so this is a growing project. I guess one way to track progress would be to see the trending of the number of nodes within the ecosystem over time, and also the number of stakers. And obviously the type of content that's on here, the type of artists publishing music and the podcast. So yeah. Any comments or thoughts there?
Yeah, well, so the technology is really interesting. And like I said before, I think on our last talk about this one, I think they really need to have like some established artists decide to move over to Audius in order for them to really get like a lot of publicity, for folks, they got to get that viral moment, right? Where everybody's talking about them. Maybe with their partnership with TikTok now, maybe they can have a better shot of getting some more shine, more publicity. And the more and more people that actually sign on board, I mean, that's how it's going to grow, right? I mean, I think you actually have to have like a real name drop content on Audius in order for it to really start to make a dent.
Yeah. So what do you think of the token as an investment? What are your thoughts right now?
Well, so we didn't really get into the tokenomics. I actually did take a look at that myself, and honestly, the tokenomics kind of sucks. It wasn't really like it was oh, there you go. You pulled it up right there. So they didn't really make a lot of tokens available for people like you and me who are interested in investing. Do they even show what the percentage is there?
Percentage of tokens given to artists?
Well, for the general just released for general investment for us as people who want to buy the token and make an investment buying that token.
Yeah, so now that the mainnet has been launched, there are tradable tokens. It could be like tokens that came from investors or like the founders of the project, or maybe like some other like artists who like sold their tokens. But I think the token supply, it's hard to kind of gauge like how it is, what that's like right now, but it's tradable on Coinbase, it's tradable on a bunch of different exchanges. So I don't think that's a real constraint right now. Like you mentioned earlier, I do also have a concern with how this, how the tokenomics were built in upfront into this project, where the founders of the project have like 41%, investors have 36%. So that just together is about 77% of the tokens for this project. That they kind of own that. So and this is where like I think maybe the idea was, because they're cutting out the middleman, right? Artists are like immediately incentivized to like upload their content anyway, because if it's good content, people are going to stream it, they're going to make money, right? So and investors aren't going to sell until like they know that there's the value that they want created out of this project has been unlocked, right? Like investors are going to be hodling for the most part, right? Founders are going to be hodling for the most part, and these are signals that maybe we should try to identify. Like, how do we know when like the founders or the investors sell, right? Like there's no way to tell right now. Obviously there's no regulation or anything, so there's no way to tell right now. So
there's just a lot of questions that I have. So when they give tokens to the artists, where are those tokens coming from? Is that just coming from the inflation that's built into the protocol?
Yep.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty much coming from the inflation built in. Let's go back to the tokenomics page on the Audius website, where like it talks a little bit more about that. So it talks about the circulating supply, right? I think community is where the tokens for the artist comes in.
Okay.
So as you can see, like the community stack on top is what gets mined based on the time scale here. Now, a good question to ask would be like, what happens after July 2026, right? Like, how does the how do artists get paid after that? So I don't know. I mean, that's something to research, actually. So
definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, I still got some questions. I mean, it's definitely an interesting project, and they got names behind them. They have some really good names behind them. I'm really curious about some other platforms too. So I know, for example, the Tezos blockchain, they're not doing what Audius is doing. What I know about the Tezos blockchain is that they just had some NFTs released by Doja Cat, and they were like really popular. I think they sold out like in seconds, and they have like a whole series of other like NFT launches that are scheduled and all of that stuff. So curious if Tezos is going to move into music or not, or if they're just going to do NFTs. But I really haven't heard of any other decentralized music platform that's going after like the Spotify and the centralized and the record companies and all of the centralized music industry competitors. So it's definitely a really cool space. And music is this is what I'd love. So I'm really gonna do a lot more research into this to see if it's a good investment or not. And even if it's not an investment, I want to just check it out. I want to just check out the music that's on the platform.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So wrapping this show up, in the interest of time, because we're over the 30-minute mark here. So, just any final thoughts there, Jasson?
No, I think you did a good job. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah,
And,
and maybe in the next episode we can dig into the the investment side of the Audius project, and see what we see in terms of the business proposition, the moat, competitive analysis, and things of that sort.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Cool. All right. Thanks. See you next time, Jasson.
All right, man. Thanks, man.
Yeah.